Robopon 2 is probably one of the most underrated Game Boy Advance games out there. Overshadowed by the legacy of the original game, I almost never hear anyone talk about it. And whenever it's brought up, it's almost always in passing, like, yeah, there was a sequel to Robopon and it was pretty good. Yet, you'll struggle to see anything written about this game. And when you do, it's just mind-boggling. What is this shit? I read this garbage and I wanna die. The game is not perfect, I get it. It has, for instance, random encounters. The battles can be slow at times, and the general issues that most games on the Game Boy Advance have. Oh, that's just cute. We're resorting to adding stuff right off the back of the box. No one bothered to check if this was all true? No one? I get it, it says it right on the box. Wikipedia says that the Whopper is made out of children. Does that mean we need to change our reviews to include this newly minted fact? No! Anyone who's played both versions can tell you that any difference is negligible, and in my opinion, cross-version is easier. Both versions have their own starters, and if you want to be vanilla about it, you can go with ring version. Now, if you're a Chad, you go with Sun Zero, who doesn't evolve because he's black.
Phew. So far, so good. Hey, that's...
That blue hedgehog again, of all places.
I found you, Faker.
Faker? I think you're the fake hedgehog around here. You're comparing yourself to me? Huh? You're not even good enough to be
I'll
my
make you eat those words.
Evolution, or as it's known in game, enhancing, is a setback. Enhancing will set you back by about half your level, but will typically increase your stat gains. Both these bad boys are pretty damn powerful, and I'd say that they're about even in the endgame. But Sun Zero never has any downtime, which means that he can carry your party while they catch back up, which you will be doing pretty often, as almost all of the good Robopon evolve at least once. Also, there are, 2 other hidden starters per version. Do yourself a favor and don't pick them your first time through. Most of them suck, and you can get them later anyways. You can never get Sunny or Sun Zero again. Seriously, trust me. Hexbot looks cool, but he seriously sucks, and I had to bench him in the 4th or 5th arc. He really fucking sucks.
Okay, but if you can't help me, I'm gonna f***ing shoot myself and make you two watch.
Difficulty in this game is pretty harsh. The game starts off fairly easy, but after you've completed a few arcs, the game starts kicking your ass. You get 4 Robopon to your team, and by the end of developing it, you'll hopefully understand what works and what doesn't, because the developers sure did. By the end of the game, it's not uncommon to see harder battles throw the other version starters at you, accompanied by some of the best healers in game, and a bot or two that can use hellishly powerful group-wide attacks. Because of this, you'll be forced to learn what works and what doesn't, and it turns out that what works early on doesn't later. It isn't until about halfway through the game that you'll be making Robopon that can consistently make it into the endgame. You build your team up by sparking 2 batteries together. There are 185 Robopon in this game, but all battery combinations are already preset, and anything not a programmed combination will result in Bullbot or Gear depending on the version. Some people may get pissed about having to reload to get a combination that they want, but you can easily keep track of what a combination entails by sticking with it. Sticking with your decision will log it and let you know for next time. On top of that, multiple NPCs will tell you about combinations, and a number of them tend to be decent enough picks for when they show up. There's a fair amount of customization in game. Unless you're using a boot type, each Robopon can equip gear and software, which allows you to make your Robopon specialize in something. Think of software as a limited resource for expanding a Robopon's skill set. Software contains skills, and a lot of these are self-explanatory. While your Robopon may learn Fire, or Napalm naturally, he doesn't learn Cure, and you desperately need a healer because someone is prone to spontaneous combustion. You can also mix two compatible software together to get varying effects.
Now that's a lot of damage!
The game basically spoils every combination for you, but feel free to experiment anyway. There are also two software that don't actually add any skills on their own called Love and Hate, which feeds into the oil system. You see, Robopon in this game are very biased towards or against certain oil types.
I want to die.
This allows for some risky strategy, as in order to cure your whole party, you'll have to crit a group which your healer likes, as well as plan against full party wipes. Another layer of customization is that you can color every Robopon in the game. It doesn't always work amazingly, but you can make each Robopon look as God intended. I personally like to pay tribute where tribute is due. Robopon 2's soundtrack is just great. I've been playing a few tracks from the game for this video, but I've been holding back two of the better songs for examples of how great the soundtrack is. Now, I don't need to talk about the main theme. If you're curious, just look it up and give it a listen for yourself. You hear it a lot, and it's a great tune that really gets you in the mood for the game. Great stuff, but it's an easy example. Instead, I want you to listen to this. It's the track for the final boss. It can sound energetic, chaotic, or just straight up out of this world, and it really nails the feelings that the fight evokes. The track itself feels like it's doing battle with itself. It slows down, speeds up, and even nails the bizarre nature of the fight itself. The music is just wonderful. The fact that people keep bringing the tracks up and they get taken down is a marvel in and of itself, especially considering how little people actually know about this game. If you check even just one thing from this game out, it has to be the soundtrack. Seriously, just give it a listen. Okay, I may have let that play a little bit too long, but can you really blame me? Anyway, let's move on. The graphics of the game don't always look super amazing, but it's clear to me that they put a lot of passion into them. It looks like they generated a lot of the graphics with computers and turned them into pixel art. I mean, just look at all the variety here. If you were to play the game, it'd be basically impossible to mistake any area for another, bar maybe the dungeons. Dungeons have a lot of reused assets, but I can overlook that easily when they put so much effort into everything else. It just feels like a genuine adventure the whole way through. I really dig the designs for the Robopon. They can be hit or miss, but a good chunk of them are inspired by other robot and mecha-centric media such as Mega Man and Gundam, which shows in the plot, and certain parts which are clearly parodying anime. Fortunately, most of the in-game Robopon looks stellar.
Mommy GF with Biggie Milky?
But unfortunately, a lot of the designs that I do like just aren't as good as other options. Or they start off really good and just turn into something else entirely. Oh boy. Now it's time for the real shit. Now we're gonna talk about the story. The story of this game is pretty damn intense. It's just really anime as fuck. Honestly, it's an unforgettable experience that I don't want to completely spoil for you. So I'll just touch briefly on the opening hour or so of gameplay and gush about some of the stuff I really love. Maybe add in a few shitposts here and there. So, you play as Cody, the protagonist of the first game, and everyone in this world takes robots hyper seriously. So, as soon as you start the game, you have to escape an exploding building because your opponent, Dr. Zero, refuses to lose gracefully. Clearly, he has failed. So that means he has to kill himself. You escape the exploding tower and are crowned a hero. Your reward is that you get to represent your country as its #1 duelist, and you have somewhat of a touching departure where you say goodbye to everyone close to you. Unfortunately, right after you leave, your Robopon ship is struck by lightning after you realize that you left all of your Robopon back at home. Here, You're taken care of by Dr. Zeke, a guy who looks strangely like Char Aznavour. Now, this is where the magic begins. You see, Robopon 2 is no ordinary story. After you meet Zeke, he realizes just who you are. You're the man responsible for the death of his brother, Dr. Zero, so he does what any normal person would do. And he goes back in time to stop his brother from dying and brings him to the present. More on that later.
I came to laugh at you.
Now, not too long after arriving in Hindo Village, it gets nuked by some jackass calling himself Masked Man. Why? No reason. But just make sure that you're there for the tournament, friendo. This guy is about to become the 7th best by participating in a tournament. Now, there's just one issue with this. You see, Masked Man has been preparing for this for over 20 years. He's been setting up a super pyramid for the day that he becomes Legend 7. He has hidden an item called an X-Stone. You know, the MacGuffin that you need to take his title in part of his pyramid, which has been lost to time. He also has a defense system which is impenetrable because, fuck you, that's why. So, another village opens up, like, right after this, and you go there, you talk to some of the locals, and you get your ass sent back in time by two of the most unfortunate professors, like, ever. These dudes just get shit on the whole game. So right after you get sent back in time, you get a call from your girlfriend. Yes, you have a girlfriend, and she's, like, in present day, and she's calling you while you're in the past, and she can tell that you're in the past. This is an important plot point, so pay attention. No laughing at this completely serious, no jokes plot, okay? Because after you disable the pyramid shit, you get rescued by her dad, and you arrive at the tournament and run right into Masked Man. So none of that would have been even possible if they hadn't have had that call. They wouldn't have known that you were in the past. So this guy, Masked Man, he has just gotten rank 7, and he's holding up pretty well, saying that, you know, he wished that you had come and competed, but, you know, he would have beaten you anyway, so it doesn't even matter. And he starts talking about how, unfortunately, you'll never be able to duel him because one day, 20 years ago, the X-Stone 7 that he hoarded, you know, the only way to challenge a ranked person in this game just vanished out of thin air. Kind of funny, huh? I mean, then he just notices that you're just carrying it in your hands. You know, just chilling with it. Now, how this dude realized that his X-Stone was gone, but not that his defense system was shut down, is just far beyond me. But the game never questioned it. The game never questions anything. You can just go right on in, fight this dude, no big deal. I mean, it's not like you're about to ruin his life or anything, right? Then, as you're leaving, pure poetry unfolds. Never before have I ever witnessed writing as grand as this. We will never even come close to this magnitude of writing ever again. So savor it while you still can. Hey, you remember your rival, Dr. Zero? Yeah, he shows up and he reveals that not only is he back, but he's gonna conquer the entire universe. That's right. And he made 3 cyborg warriors to beat your Robopon. These dudes are relentless and they will never stop chasing you. First off, this is fucking insane. I mean, one of his cyborgs just straight up at some point questions why he doesn't just fucking suplex you and be done with it. I mean, they have limited lives too, so if they can't beat you, they fucking die. I mean, they have proper incentive to just kill you, but instead they wait until you least expect it and challenge you to a fucking duel. That's right, anytime, any place. Even if you think you're safe, there they are. Save frequently because this shit can erase hours off of your progress. I mean, you thought you could just go back to some little robo hospital? Nah, if you lose, you lose. Game over. This is just the start of the game too. This whole arc is somewhere around an hour if you know what to do, and within the start of the game, you have so much going on. It is just so insane, and I love it. I could just gush about this game for hours. I love so much about it. It's so much about the plot, and the story just motivates you to see what's going to happen next. Even having played the game before, there's just so much here to see. The character-to-character dialogue is just so great, and there's just so many small details in the game. Stupid joke dialogue that becomes a reality. You know, you accidentally check out a drawer and get Hoffman services. Hidden secret stat items that sell for like $20,000 that you should definitely sell and not hold on to. Secret hidden evolutions and hidden abilities. There's just so much that's probably out there that we don't even know about simply because nobody has said a word about it. Because nobody played this game. It's great, and I love so much about it. I love the Yakuza arc.
キラークイーンはすでにドアノブに触っている。
I love how stupid the circus arc is.
It's bondage, gay website. It's all male.
Hey buddy, I think you got the wrong door. The leather club's 2 blocks down.
Fuck you. Fucking slaves, get your ass back here! Fuck you!
I love how the story was written around the gameplay nonsensically rather than the other way around. I mean, we hardly see that anymore. Do you remember when games were made to be fun? Cause I do. I love how Nick D, the saddest man to ever exist, has just such a terrible shit team the whole game. And it isn't until you go back in time and you find this dude as a child that he has a semi-decent team. It's just such an easy thing to miss, and I lost my mind when I saw it, because I played through this game multiple times, and I didn't notice it the first time through. I just adore this game, and all the hidden things in it. I mean, just shit like bingo? You have bingo in this game. What other game has bingo, huh? Just name me one. Name me one game that has fucking hidden bingo in it. One game! Okay, so, quick side note. While I was making this video, somebody actually made a ROM hack, which, you know, makes it a lot easier to use some of the weaker Robopon. So, you know, link to that will be in the description. Haven't played it myself, though, so be aware. Now, before I end this video, there's something I want to say that might piss off a lot of Pokemon fans. Now, I'd just like to say right now that I like Pokemon myself. However, people complain all the time about how Game Freak fucked up on one thing or another. I mean, honestly, if you're that into Pokemon yet refuse to play anything even remotely similar, you have no one to blame but yourself. There are so many other games out there. So many other games that tried something similar to this formula and innovated on it to the point where Pokemon would later incorporate those features into their games. No one bats an eye when Pokemon takes ideas, but when something is too similar to Pokemon, it gets shit on. You even have nerds saying Dragon Quest Monsters is a clone. Last time I checked, Dragon Quest V came out in 1992, and that had capturable monsters. And this all just goes back to Robopon 1, because I look at these reviews, I look at people talking about it on YouTube, and they always say, oh, it's just a Pokemon clone, don't look into it, it's shit, look at it, it's garbage, it's trash, look, your starter can't even evolve, it's like Pikachu. Come on now. The only reason that I can think of that nobody wants to talk about Robopon 2 is that everybody would rather focus on how bad the original was. Like it's not even that bad. It had a lot to offer. And you know why you should play this? Because employees from Quintet worked on it. And it's one of the last games the president worked on before vanishing off the face of the earth. Nobody even knows what happened to this dude. He just vanished. Now, you may have heard of Quintet before. They worked on a plethora of great Super Nintendo games, including one called Robotrack, known in Japan as Slapstick. It came out in 1994, and it was a comedic RPG where you, the player, don't fight, but instead build robots that fight for you. These robots are created through item combinations and are sent out onto the battlefield through throwable red and white balls, and you go around thwarting an evil terrorist organization. Sounds kind of familiar, huh?
Milky, milky, warm and tasty. Mommy, milky, please be hasty. Refreshing drink from Mommy's udders. I want Mommy's and no others. Give it, give it, give it now.